What was it like when you first had people react to you in character?
Good question. A different type of question to the same answer I've been giving the whole day. But I had, we did a lot of rehearsing. You know, Robert rehearses and blocks out every scene in the movie with Jaron, the DP, and they figure out, okay, and you do this in just like some warehouse space, you know, or so that all the shots are lined up exactly, so everybody knows exactly what we're doing on the day. But rehearsing with his character felt so like shameful and embarrassing. You know, I was standing in my like sweatpants, looking like myself, like, you know, and trying to do this. I felt so like I was faking it, and you know, and I hated myself. But it wasn't until everything, you know, on the second camera test where I had the full makeup on, the wardrobe on, and the cameras was rolling, and the crew was there, and there's this little tension, and we were shooting on film as well, which is, you know, become a rarity, and that even heightens it a little bit more when you're rolling and you hear the camera and you know that it's costing money every second it's rolling. That tension with the costume, with the lighting, you know, there was, I think, a lot of my stuff was only lit by actual candlelight. So you have this kind of, you know, you have 40 candles placed around you, and you feel the heat of them, and you can feel the sort of glow in your eyes that it creates, and that was the first time I felt truly confident and comfortable as Orlok. And thank God we had that camera test, because then when I showed up on our first day of shooting, I felt that he was activated, he was ready to go. Yeah.
But I do remember the first table read, you know, where everybody first gets together, everybody's there ready to start the movie, and you traditionally read the script before, and everybody's waiting to hear what Bill sounds like, you know, because he's looking like this, and it's far from Orlok. So I get his feelings, but everybody was quite impressed.
Well,
you know,
I
thought, oh yeah, this will be good.
I was sitting next to Ralph Innocent.
Yeah,
who has like
deep voice.
He has the deepest voice I think I've ever encountered. And this was like a read through, and you know, I think he was out and had a few beers the night before, so it was like extra deep. And I'm sitting next to him, and he has lines I think in the movie before I do. And he was speaking, and I was like, my chest was vibrating off of his voice.
Yeah, it's true. The point is made that one of the interesting things about this movie, this version of this movie, is, you know, you see it from Ellen's point of view, but nobody, and you're with her, but nobody else sees what she's seeing, and until my character comes, and he does see, and he because he acknowledges that there are dark forces, and of course. He sees her too. He sees everything. So, as far as that applies to me, that's pretty tough question. You know, that's so long ago. You know, it's the old story. You got to keep on going. I'm never worried about people believing me. It's more about you know, just enjoying and loving what you do, and then. Throwing stuff up against the wall and hoping it sticks, you know, because I don't expect people to believe me. I just expect to believe myself, and if I do something in performing that's transparent enough that something is happening to me, then hopefully, if it's sincere enough, maybe sincere is not the best word, but it's honest enough. It's not to achieve, you know, something for me. It's not selfish. It's kind of open-hearted and really a curiosity and investigation. Then people will be with me. So let's take me out of it, because as an actor, you trade in characters, you know, and of course it's you. No one else is doing it but you. But the whole point is you're entertaining a different self. Yes. So it's a fun question, but I'm not sure I have a good answer.
You have actually.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
It's long. So.
No, not really. Thank you.
Sorry.
And Bill, for you, when Thomas meets your character for the first time, he has the hope that this will be it, you know, like the right place and the right moment where everything gets started, where he wants to go, basically. And I was wondering, because we all have that, you know, like, and I was wondering, do you remember a specific moment where you felt like, oh, this is like the right moment, the right time, and then later on you kind of realized it's not?
Yes, of course, there's plenty of moments in my life where I've gone, this is the moment, and then it turned out not to be the moment.
But luckily we
we'll
had
see on
that
December
time.
25th.
But it's fun sometimes as an actor. I've been in positions where someone proposes something to you and you think, absolutely not. And then they seduce you and you end up doing it and you feel very insecure about it because you're not sure. And then you get to a point where absolutely this is a perfect setup because you come towards it. But there have been situations where it's usually to play, let's say, real-life characters. I played T.S. Eliot in Pasolini. When it's first proposed to me, it's like, I don't look like him, I don't act like him, there's nothing like me about him, so maybe I'm not a good person, maybe it's a stretch, maybe this is bad casting. And then they seduce you, and then you get in it, and then sometimes you think being far away from something and going towards it is better than being smack dab on it and doing your thing or expressing your a place that you are already at. When you go towards something, sometimes you don't know where you're going to arrive, but the going towards it is really what makes stuff lift up, I think. Because if it's already there, sometimes it gets heavy or it gets showy or it dies. You know, you always got to, I think you have to be somewhere in a struggle. And I'm sure playing Orlok with all that makeup, long makeup time, and different physical language.
That's exactly how I felt with this movie.
Yeah.
I told Robert at one point, I'm like, I don't even look like the guy did when he was alive. Like, why did you cast me in this?
That's what special effects make it for.
yes. But absolutely, like I think, like living in that kind of, as an actor, living in that fear and that feeling that you can't do it or that it feels out of reach, is when you know your own limits, but also when you expand yourself and go, like I love feeling terrified in the creative process of going. It also motivates me to work as hard as I humanly can, to be like, I don't know, like this, like whatever this, like it's, I need obstacles, you know.
But you also need something to encourage you. And in this case, of course, it's Robert, because he's a great filmmaker, and what he does is so weirdly practical and rooted. It comes from someplace. You go on the set, and it's remarkable. Everything, nothing's for show. Everything has a function. Everything has a life. Everything has an origin. So when you get in that situation, you kind of melt into that, and that world makes you. And you know what has to be done. So you can be very far away from it, but then as you put yourself in it, the world and the actions in the story start to work on you, and that's the birth of the character. And when you can find that combination, that's when it's great, because then it's really about doing and experiencing something, as opposed to having an idea and showing the audience something, or interpreting something, saying, oh, this is like this, don't you recognize that? It's not enough to move people, I think. Relating to characters and seeing something that moves you is very important, but sometimes it doesn't stick if it doesn't have that sense of curiosity and wonder and foreignness. So not only for the actors, but also for the audience, it's important. So, it's one thing to say, oh, I like being frightened, and a lot of actors say that, and I think it's true. But you also need that other thing of you need that carrot.
Yeah, and not only you need the carrot, and you need, like, the fear turns into confidence, which is an interesting thing. But you need, like,
because you're surviving.
You're surviving, and you cannot be afraid in front of the camera ever. So for the whole process of going, oh, can I do this, or you know, I'm going to make a fool out of myself. I've taken on something that's too big for me or whatever. That is the process. But until when the camera rolls, there can't be any of it. It can't be, for me at least. It can't be. And I felt that with this movie, you know, Robert likes to rehearse and block out the scenes, and he does it with Jaren, the DOP, and so
The shots are really designed.
everything is designed, and you have a couple of weeks where the actors are in, you know, a room kind of like this, and you're just like in your sweatpants, and you're working through it. And I tend to love that, but with Orlok, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Well, I hate it because I'm standing like myself, like, and I couldn't even commit to the voice really. Everything felt so ridiculous, and I felt so exposed and naked. So I was like, you know, I could block it out in terms of, okay, this makes sense in terms of my movements, but the committed performance wasn't there for me. I felt like a goddamn fool trying to do it. And then I was locked up in my own room, just committing to it and exploring it. But and then here the fear, and then we're getting closer, and the nerves and everything. But it wasn't until, and to Willem's point as well about how when you enter a Robert Eggers set, every single detail, the world comes alive in front of your eyes as well. And the second camera test where I had the full prosthetics, the actual clothes, and in a giant room that was only or a tiny room that was only lit by candles, and I started feeling the light here, and the candle lit, and it felt the something in the air, and then the camera starts rolling, and it's on film, so you can even hear it, and at that point, everything went away, and he came alive. And absolutely no fear, and 100% confidence, which the role needed. He's a pretty confident guy.
Right.
And that was the moment where I go, okay, I got this. And then once you showed up on set, that was what came out of me, you know. And it was a journey. It was a journey.